Right now at 10, police against protesters in St. Paul.
What police are doing to keep protesters off Summit and on the sidewalk.
Plus, day 2 of the DNC.
And I move that Hillary Clinton be selected as the nominee.
And Hillary officially makes history.
And in weather, after some quiet and dry days, some changes on the way. You might need an umbrella.
Also, Twin Cities home sales sizzling. And golfers taking to the skies to try and top the rankings in Rio. The news starts now.
In 1950, a bottle of beer would have set you back 2 bits. Stepping through the doors at Hennepin and Lourdes
Welcome to Nyes.
will set you back decades.
Well, it's 9 o'clock on a Saturday.
Nyes Bar and Polonaise Room are a throwback. Less to your father than to his father.
You just feel like you're back in like Mad Men times.
Already 2 decades in business.
It's the only job I've had.
When Phil Barker,
I remember when you had hair.
22 and just out of the Navy,
Yes, sir.
came aboard as Nyes bartender.
I've collected 1 W-2 form since 1969. It's right here.
Long enough to have been hired by the man whose presence here
Do you like the jumbo size?
remains larger than life. It was 1950 when Al Nye first put his name on the existing corner bar at the gateway to Northeast. In 64, he built a dining room over the parking lot and named it after a Polish dance, the Polonaise. In 67, the Chopin Room took over the ground floor of the adjacent building. And 5 years after that, Nyes crashed through the wall of the adjoining diner. Finally,
Polish sausage and sauerkraut.
Nyes was perfectly complete
Fly me to the moon
and hasn't changed since.
forevermore.
Not the decor,
Not the restrooms, not the seating.
Ask these girls.
and definitely not
Oh, yeah.
Phil's jokes.
I was surprised all 3 of them made bail today. The one girl's ankle is still buzzing.
Cloth napkins, 10 feet, and a swinging door. From a hipster's haven with a polka band.
My dad's like, get ready, you're walking back into the 50s. So like the Twilight Zone.
So much a part of the worn fabric of Northeast Minneapolis.
It's what makes Nyes the way it is.
No one wants to,
Let it go, let it go.
but go. In just 3 weeks, it will. Apartments and shops, that's what's coming.
I do love it here. It's going to be hard.
Which means it's time to mourn what's going.
How many places can you come to where your grandparents have been and danced and your parents have been when they were in college or when they were young?
And where Vera Strandmark has for decades found her stage. 84 years old, her husband and former singing partner, now in a nursing home with Alzheimer's. She's found at Nyes her 3 nights a week second family.
That's Vera!
The place, she told us,
Terrified that it's going to end.
that's keeping her alive.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
That's what Minneapolis is losing.
You've got a friend.
The best bar in America, Esquire magazine proclaimed,
The nice memories going on.
but not good enough to keep the weekday crowds from thinning and ultimately change from coming.
All your years of service.
The final toast in sight.
Stand by me. Oh,
As the place that stayed true to its colors
stand
fades to black.
by me.
Boyd Hooper, KARE 11 News, Northeast, Minneapolis.
We love Nyes.
The Bible speaks of manna from heaven. Old Testament compared to what's being showered on Celebration Church.
You're going to see it. It's nuts.
Lisa Lundstrom oversees the church finances.
It's breathtaking.
And learned late last year that Dennis Erickson, their longtime usher,
That's his ashes right behind you.
had willed to the church his home. Simple enough, she thought,
Yep.
until Lisa went inside.
Buick, Chevrolet, Dodge, Ford. This is just the beginning.
Cars in the kitchen.
I know.
In the hallway.
And there's more here.
In the laundry room.
We were in the bathroom.
Cars. In the carpet and the rafters.
Literally, it's floor to ceiling, every single room.
If there was space available,
This is a bed.
Dennis parked a car on it.
This is the bed.
Lisa has learned much the past few weeks about the engineer who started this at the age of 9.
Every single little car.
Then kept going.
That's a 59 Edsel. This is a 66 Rambler. We just kept putting cars
Until the count
and cars
had reached
and more cars.
more than 30,000.
This is one of the largest collections in the entire world, right here.
Scouring antique shops, car shows, and the internet, Dennis amassed the equivalent of a car for every day of his life.
This was his bedroom.
69 years into which he fell asleep and didn't wake up. An only child with no wife and no children.
He didn't have family to put a funeral together for him. We did it as the church because he was our family.
A family now celebrating the passion of a man
1957 DeSoto.
who saved and cataloged thousands of automotive brochures
Just look at that catalog right here.
and meticulously logged his every car
Added canned STP.
encounter.
Put Armor All on inside of rear tires. He took better care of these little cars than some people take care of people in their lives.
And then Dennis covered that base
Yeah,
too.
78, I believe, is when about time we met.
Glenn Lindale once shared a memorable road trip in Dennis's 77 Bonneville.
And I get to sign this title over.
Dennis's wish
And even the brochure,
fulfilled
it's really a surprise.
that the Bonneville go home with Glenn.
But I thank him for it very much.
The rest of the collection will be sold, though how exactly is a work
Cars.
in progress. If Lisa's right, it should fetch for the church well into 6 figures.
But what he left more than this, which is amazing, is how people felt about him.
Lisa prays Dennis Erickson's heavenly home is also
Yeah.
a house of cars. Boyd Hooper, Carol 11 News, Egan.
Today means everything purple. It's bragging rights day.
All things Viking, because if it's not Viking, it's crap! Go Pack, go! Go Pack, go!
We're going to shred some cheese today.
I was at home last night going, is it tomorrow? Is it really tomorrow?
I think like everybody's like, okay, open, ready?
Oh yeah, we've been waiting for this. Vikings #1 fan. Watched all the games. Someday I wish he can get in.
This season. Just so excited for the season and inside the stadium and
their team's building up. It's like
Yeah.
the team is peaking at the right moment.
It's gorgeous. It looks fantastic from here. I can't wait to see what it's like inside.
$300 for $55 tickets, but to open up the new stadium, priceless. The Metrodome was good enough for me, but this is pretty sweet.
we were here when they closed down the Metrodome and that was the Packers. So I don't know, maybe it's fitting.
It's the start of a new legacy in general.
College is all about credit, but when it comes to credit cards,
I do not have a credit card. I have a debit card.
more millennials are choosing not to use credit cards. A recent Bankrate Money Pulse survey found that just a third of adults under 30 have one.
No, I don't have a credit card.
No, I don't. I think debit cards are more tangible for kids our age.
The survey found that 7 years after the Great Recession, millennials haven't warmed up to the idea of using credit as a financial tool.
The whole concept of credit cards and just knowing how many people are in debt, how difficult it can be to work your way out of that, it just really doesn't seem like something that I want to be involved in.
So if used responsibly, credit cards can be a great tool.
David Carlson is a millennial himself. He runs the blog Young Adult Money and is the author of Hustle Away Debt.
What I look for in a top credit card would be no annual fee, straightforward rewards, and those are really the two key things to look for. And that naturally leads you to cashback credit cards.
For millennials considering their first card, Carlson has his own top 3, starting with the Discover It card. No annual fee, unlimited 1% cash back on all purchases, 5% cash back on up to $1,500 when you spend on certain categories, and a sign-up bonus where your cashback rewards earned in the first 12 months are matched at the end of the year.
It's a good go-to card. It's actually the card that I use as my fallback everyday purchase card, and that's something that I would recommend to people who are looking for their first card.
Next, the Chase Freedom Unlimited card. No annual fee, 1.5% cash back, no limit, and a sign-up bonus of $150 cash back when you spend $500 in the first 3 months. And finally, the Citi Double Cash card. No annual fee, and of the 3, this has the highest cash back rate. There's no sign-up bonus, but you get 1% cash back on all your purchases, then another 1% cash back on what you pay off.
Pay it off right away. Don't hold a balance on it. If you do, you're really defeating the purpose of it, because you're going to pay so much in interest that it offsets any rewards that you would get. So definitely, when you use these cards, don't spend money that you otherwise wouldn't spend.
Carlson also says if you have credit card debt, focus on that before opening up any other cards.
I'd consider it. I think that it's probably important to have.
But first, it's important to know your options and feel out the best fit for you. Heidi Wigdahl, KARE 11 News.
America, someone finally had the gumption to name a beer after the greatest country on earth. That's right, Anheuser-Busch is renaming Budweiser America. The classic Bud logo and the name will be replaced with America and phrases like E pluribus unum and liberty and justice for all. And that name change is going to last right up through the November 2016 election. Why? Budweiser says, quote, "We thought nothing was more iconic than Budweiser and nothing was more iconic than America." Well, I can't say that I can argue with that statement. After all, what sounds more American than cracking open a cold one while grilling out in your backyard on a sweaty, hot 4th of July weekend, celebrating America's freedom? The answer is nothing. Budweiser went on, though, to say that the name change was its patriotic duty. Yeah, here's where it gets a little hinky for me. Call me a surly cynic, if you will, but this whole patriotic stunt reeks of publicity. Like weak old Limburger cheese stinks. Does Budweiser really think we're dumb enough to believe they did this solely out of love for country? I'm sure a boost in summer sales, a summer that holds the Olympics, by the way, had nothing to do with it. I'm sure a country divided by a contentious presidential election with a need to find some sort of unifying force had nothing to do with it. But I digress. Look, as a consumer, I appreciate a clever marketing campaign, but this isn't that. It's a cheap ploy, a gross money grab, veiled in red, white, and blue. How do I know that? Well, for one, Anheuser-Busch is now a Belgian-Brazilian brewing company headquartered in Belgium. So cut the Yay USA charade. But in the end, you win, Budweiser. We all know America will fly off the shelves this summer, and you've proved me wrong. I guess it is a clever marketing campaign. Look at the free commercial we just gave you.
I'm Aaron King. I live in Minneapolis, and I have a weird passion for maps in comic books. It's like if there was a nerd and then another nerd inside that nerd, and those nerds were arguing. That's me. I traveled a lot with my parents when I was young, so we were always on road trips in the car, and I would always read the maps and follow along where we were going. So then when I started seeing maps in comic books, it was two things I love, two great tastes going well together. I just like the interaction of the words and the pictures, and it's almost like a story inside a story. Just those levels of separation interest me, like if a map is on its own and no one's around it, is that a map for the readers or the characters? So a couple of years ago I started just scanning them all and putting them on a website, and it took off. And so now there's 15,000 people following this. It posts every day. It's like crate diving for people that like records, only I'm on my knees going through boxes of comics, and I usually try not to bring it up. One, because it's embarrassing, and two, because it is hard to describe. Sometimes I wonder, what if I'd spent my time doing something a little bit more valuable? I don't know about pride, but I'm happy I've done it. That's what does it for me. Everything else just fades away and you're just staring at this other little world.
The fabrics of our lives come woven in many shades and textures. But sometimes one just fits.
It's very pretty.
Diana Orr
Yeah.
merrily wore the dress her mother purchased for her kindergarten photo.
It's a big deal at school for picture day.
The dress that then became a hand-me-down for little sister Lana.
Well, red is my favorite color. So, I had to have been happy.
By then, the die was cast,
I was the third one.
and Linnell just knew.
I knew it was my turn coming, and yeah, felt pretty special.
Each time the dress came out, the girl's mom was sure would be the last.
Because a boy was supposed to come along.
Yeah, I kind of got a butch haircut there.
Instead came Lisa.
Yeah.
Then Corrine.
Had to. Had to.
Then Sarah.
Then it was just girl, girl, girl.
Girl, 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 girl. All in the same plaid dress.
It's something that happened, I guess.
Something
Yep.
that didn't stop.
I'm second generation. I'm glad we could keep the tradition going.
Again and again and again and again and again and again and again.
Jessica, Emma.
I'd say that we did it for Grandma.
16 girls over 2 generations sharing the same jeans and a dress.
51 years.
Yeah.
51 years.
51 years. Mm-hmm.
And all of it on the line.
Our picture day.
Nope, I'm not wearing that thing. I said, yeah, you have to. Nope.
Sarah, the youngest of the original sisters,
Very much a tomboy.
knew that little blonde-haired cutie was not going easily.
She likes playing with the boys out in the dirt.
And turns out Sarah, despite the smile,
Same thing.
was as dress-averse as her daughter.
I told her she had it coming.
The knowing grandma. The no way 6-year-old.
Boys and girls.
And the mom in the middle.
I did not want my child to be the one not to wear the dress.
Does anyone have to change clothes or go put something special on?
Life today will offer Aubrey a couple of lessons. Some things you do for family.
Hi, Aubrey.
And the rest for your mother's promise of monster truck tickets.
Sweetie, what's your name?
For 5 minutes in that dress. Aubrey will be building on a tradition that has for 5 decades honored her grandma and bonded the women in her family.
Stand right up there, sweetheart.
But for the first time, she'll be doing it in pants and a ball cap.
Give me a big one again. Oh, that smile, I love it.
Well played, Aubrey.
Sweetheart, you did awesome. Thank you.
An appropriate nod to changing times.
Ready?
As Aubrey closes the book on her generation
Hold my hand.
and the dress.
Wait, don't run, Aubrey.
Just in time to picture this.
That's Mommy. As long as the dress holds up, I think the tradition will. Just a small thing that ties us all together.
Boyd Hooper, KARE 11 News, Mora.